book of Genesis narrates the beginning of all things, the beginning of redemptive history, and specifically the beginning of the search to find a savior. The book traces the promise of a seed, an individual who will redeem humanity and creation. The book anticipates that this individual, or promised seed, will be a royal and a righteous redeemer. Genesis divides neatly into 12 sections according to the 11 uses of the Toledot formula. These are the generations of. Broadly, we can group these sections together as primordial history, Genesis 1 through 11, the stories of Abraham, 12 through 25, Isaac and Jacob, 26 through 36, and Joseph, 37 through 50. Some important texts within Genesis include Genesis 1, the story of creation, Genesis 2 and 3, the fall of humanity, Genesis 12, verses 1 through 3, those are the promises given to Abraham, which lay a foundation for the patriarchal promises, Genesis 15 and 17, the covenants that God makes with Abraham, and then perhaps one of the last verses of the book, Genesis 50, verse 20, which summarizes the way in which God worked in Joseph's life, but really throughout the entire narrative. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. There are lots of interpretive issues throughout the book. Who are the Nephilim? What specifically was the sin of Noah's sons, or of Lot's wife? And why did Joseph test his brothers? Aside from these, perhaps the greatest danger for the preacher will be a tendency to turn every episode into a moral example for us to avoid or imitate. Rarely, I think, is that the point of the text. A series in Genesis will help any congregation understand and see better the nature and origin of sin and of God's plan of salvation. And it will lay a foundation that will inform their reading of the rest of the Bible.